Oh, welcome back to the Magpie channel on TV. Welcome back to StreamYard. It's been time since we've done a bit of StreamYard. Sorry this one's not live for you, so we'd like to get you involved in the chat and stuff, but me and Flex, busy schedules. We're doing this one in the AM for you, so it can come out in the PM. Flex is in the building. United View TV, how we doing, mate?
Big up, man. Yes, thanks for having me. Big game coming up, another big game between us two. And I'm fucking nervous.
he is nervous, people, and that. I never thought
I'm
I'd see the
nervous.
day. Why are you
Yeah.
nervous, mate?
I'm nervous because it's a big atmosphere at St. James's Park. I know that you've said before that you're not really going down that story of redemption and revenge and stuff like that. But I do think some of that does play into it. Obviously, the cup final is gone; you'll never get that back. But that is a factor. That is a factor. We don't have Casemiro. That's another factor. And just knowing what a loss can mean, actually, because if we lose this, we're 3 points ahead of you. If we lose this, I think it just draws us into that real top four scrap. And yeah, Spurs are shit, and Liverpool got their own problems, and that we're all kind of fighting for it. But I don't want to be getting drawn back into that. And I feel like losing this game can definitely be that. And to finish off of why another reason why I'm nervous is because our record against the top 12 is absolutely horrendous. We've only beaten Fulham in the whole top half of the table. Crazy. Lost against City, lost against Arsenal, lost against Aston Villa. Lost against Brentford. Should have beat Chelsea but didn't. Got a draw. So our record against didn't even beat Palace. They're 12th currently.
Why do you think it is? What's the difference? Because at Old Trafford, you seem untouchable in a way, don't you? But away from home, what's the difference there, Paul?
I think it's I think it's just the stage of where the team is. We had so much to fix last year. Old Trafford, people were rocking up there and taking 3 points for fun, bro. Away teams were coming up there playing like the home team, saying, Old Trafford, light work. And I think Ten Hag has fixed that, but he hasn't managed to fix us in the big games away, which obviously it's concerning, it's annoying, but with where I'm not ungrateful, like with where we are in our process under Ten Hag, can't fix everything in one season, by even getting us a trophy at the first time of asking. I'm sorry, but whoever it was going to be against, he got us a trophy in the first time of asking, which was massively important. He's stabilized the squad. Old Trafford is a fortress, and actually, the fact that Old Trafford is a fortress is the reason why we're even third.
So, yeah, I mean, so St. James's Park, though, it's been a bit mixed in recent years for Man United when they come to town, because last year was a draw, St. Maximin 1-1. We should have won that game. We missed so many chances that game, although De Gea, as he always seems to, has a very good game against us.
What happened again? Cavani came on and scored, didn't he?
Cavani came on, yeah. And obviously, we've had a couple of draws, you've had a couple of wins, and then we had a couple of big moments. Matty Longstaff, 1-0.
Twice in the same season.
Longstaff brothers.
And I remember it wasn't even a good Longstaff who scored. I was pissed that day. He scored.
I'm pleased for Matty. He's got that moment for life now, because he's unfortunately had injuries, and it looks like he's probably going to be released by the club this summer. But whatever happens to him, whether he plays in the Championship, League Two, Conference, goes and works night shifts in Tesco, he's always going to have that memory. He's always going to have that memory of bagging a winner against Man United. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he will.
But this weekend, the big news for Newcastle is obviously the return of J7. Joe Linton is back in midfield. Massive for us. Now, we did win back-to-back games without him, but he's critical to that midfield. Powerhouse, covers all the blades of grass. We've got Almiron out for a few weeks. We know that. Botman is thankfully okay after international duty. We yet to hear about Shaw. Pope's all right. Now, check out the preview on Flex's channel as well, by the way, where we talk about this. And we talk about Nick Pope, where Flex isn't happy about that one. Leave that for that one.
Disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Casemiro getting red cards, no problem. I'll accept it. But the consistency in this league, and even you guys would admit that there against Wolves, how that was not a red card, I will never know.
I think he just felt sorry for him, mate. I just think he just felt sorry for him doing it again.
That is unbelievable.
So there's Newcastle United's team news. Gordon is a late decision as well. Wilson, St. Maximin's fit. Flex, what's the Man United team news looking like? We know the big one is obviously Casemiro being out.
Yeah, no Casemiro. And it's kind of as you were. I mean, there was question marks about Sabitzer because he picked up a knock against on international duty. He played the first game, picked up a knock. Blenheim was on the bench for the second game, but he's come back to training and trained fine. during the week, so I'm expecting him to be fit and ready. The only surprise could be, and it would be a surprise, we ain't bloody seen him all year, is if Anthony Martial was on the bench for us, because that would be a big plus, because he can affect the game. I know a lot of Man United fans have written him off, and I understand why. He hasn't completed the 90 minutes all season. He's been absolutely plagued with injury. He's been awful. But actually, every time he's played, he's done really well, even though he's only played about 4 games. But
there's a talent there, isn't there? There is talent there.
Yeah, it's talent there. I mean, I think we're pretty much done with him, though. I feel like, his time's probably up. But in terms of the remainder of the season, if we can get him fit, obviously, Big Wout up front has been holding down the fort. He's only got 2 goals, bless him. But he works.
Chris Wood,
yeah, exactly. Or the striker that Joe Linton was for you before he became, before he became an amazing centre mid. Yeah,
tell me Ten Hag needs to listen to Eddie Howe, drop him into number 6.
Bro. But then, to be fair, Wout Weghorst can't move like Joe Linton can. Joe Linton's a really powerful runner, man. Is Joe Linton. So, yeah, that's pretty much the latest. Christian Eriksen again, he's out. But he's coming back to fitness after a long-term injury. He's been training with the team again after a long time, but this game will come too soon for him, in my opinion. The press conference at the time of recording this hasn't been done yet. It's going to be done later on, but I should imagine he's still out. But the only thing that can really change is Martial being on the bench. Other than that, everyone is as you were, and obviously Casemiro.
So Marcus Rashford, he's done doing up Macaulay Culkin now, yeah? He's done doing up Home Alone. He's had enough of the Empire State Building. He's been Central Park with Julian Chandler. Yeah.
Listen, mate, he picked up a knock.
I really want to see Julian and score on the weekend and do this. I really fucking do. Revenge. I've said it wasn't about revenge. It's about revenge now.
And you know what? It'll be a testament to Marcus Rashford. He is a role model for all professional footballers. So they're all taking his celebration. That's fine. That is what it is. Yeah. But he should be fit. Again, we haven't actually had, the press conference hasn't happened. So haven't actually had the official confirmation. But by the way he's been training, and he was back in the international break after the knock that he had just before the international break, and he's been training like mad. I will suspect he'll be fine.
I'm sure he will be. I'm sure
he better be. Actually, he better be, because if he ain't, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I'll be even more confident, because for me, I think the midfield battle is where the game is going to be won for us. I think we're seeing that at Wembley. I think Bruno Guimaraes wasn't fit enough. Casemiro, with all his Champions League final experiences and everything, stepped up to the plate. Without Casemiro, Newcastle was having Julian on back, and that on a bit of a run now, back-to-back wins, momentum going, although we have had the international break. That's where I think it'll be the difference. And is that where you can see the game going? Because Sabitzer comes in with a knock, McTominay. We're going to talk about McTominay in a minute, but what do you think about that midfield? Like, are you worried about that now without Casemiro?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always worried when Casemiro ain't there, because he's been influential for us. He's been unbelievable. But as Ten Hag says, we have won games without him. As good as he has been, he's had 2 lengthy layoffs because of two silly red cards. The first one against Palace, which was, again, no consistency. But again, he got a ban for that, and then a ban for this one, and then he got another suspension for a yellow card against Palace where he missed Arsenal. So we've played. Yeah, he's probably missed more games than he's played. He hasn't, but we've won games without him, and when we can win without him, of course we can. But in midfield, it is a bit of a conundrum as to what Ten Hag does, because, like we said on United View, the physicality that you'll possess in midfield, if for say you go with what we will do, which is what Joe Linton, Longstaff, and Bruno Guimaraes, it's like we have to be ready for that. But at the same time, I think we need to match intensity. We need to have legs in there, and I like Fred for that reason. But also the height situation, McTominay gives us that. And look, McTominay's not the best, and I know you guys are interested in him. And actually, I'm not going to slag him off and say, "Oh, he's shit, you can have him." But like, in my opinion, he's not Man United level. But actually, in an Eddie Howe system, I can actually see him doing quite. If Sean Longstaff's doing what he's doing, McTominay can do that, and I think maybe a little bit more. I think they're quite similar, actually.
Because Fabrizio Romano came out yesterday, and with the rumours ongoing away with McTominay. They were there in January. They've been there for the second half of the season. Romano came out yesterday and said he's one of the top targets for Eddie Howe this summer, Scott McTominay. So could you see that happening? Do you think Man United let him go?
Yeah, they would. I absolutely see. I was in a class of don't let him go this in January. You're an absolute top 4 rival to us. you know, we had midfield issues as it was, and we can't make you stronger, because that's what he would have done. He would have made you stronger. And actually, I do think he can come to you and make you stronger. At the same time, I'm saying I don't want him to stay, and I think we can sell him to you for decent money and go in a different direction with the profile of midfielder. He's definitely a player who can add value to Newcastle. And again, if I look at the type of midfielders that Eddie Howe has got and is having, look at Joe Linton. You know, he wasn't even a centre mid. And look at the type he is. Look at Longstaff. Again, great for the team. Geordie lad, done well. But again, he's not. I don't think he's top draw level. And I think McTominay falls into that. But he's not top draw level. However, within a functioning team and a unit, which is what Eddie Howe is building, players like McTominay, I think McTominay's actually perfect for Newcastle.
Yeah. I think you'll provide good balance. When we were linked with him in January, I said, I'm not for it. I can't really see the point. Does he improve with that much? You know, I was calling him Scott McLongstaff. I was like, he's just a Scottish.
he is kind of a Longstaff. Yeah, he is
Scottish Longstaff. You know, what I mean, what we're getting. But now, the more I think about it, the more I see him, the more I'm warming towards it. I think it makes sense. And when you see Howe's work on Almiron, on Joe Linton, I think you can get something out of him. And do you think he's getting played out of position or not utilised enough at Manchester United? Because for Scotland, he's unbelievable. What's going on there? Bagging goals for fun.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. Scott McTominay's played over 200 games for Man United.
Wow, has he? How long has he been there now? Because he was academy product, wasn't
he? Academy product. He came through in Jose's season. So what was that? 16, 17, I want to say.
Wow, I didn't realise.
Because we won the FA Cup in 2016 and Van Gaal got sacked in that May. So then Jose came. And in that season, I believe he broke through then, through the academy. And McTominay was always a striker in the academy.
Was he?
Yeah, mate. Type it in on YouTube, mate. You'll see him banging in goal. He's number 9 on his back, mate. He's up front.
Why is he not putting something to the
instead of Veghorst, mate? As soon as we seen that, we've started flipping out. Tell you what, you might have to go back in your up front bag, bro. Now we need you. But he has played big games for Man United. Big games. He's played away at the Nou Camp. He's played, away at Barcelona, away at PSG when we had that amazing night when we won. He's played against PSG in other games. He's played in big games for Man United. You know what I mean? Big games, big derby wins. He's played in, scored in. You know what I mean? So he's a very experienced player, Scott McTominay. He's, like I said, he's played. It's interesting to see your reaction when I said he's played over 200 games for Man United. You know, that's a big achievement. You don't do that unless you've got a bit about you. So it's not a question of has he had a fair chance or anything like that. We've seen him, play a lot of games. One thing I will put in his favor is that a lot of managers have always picked him. We've had McTominay and Fred for so long and it hasn't been good enough, those two. But in terms of his attitude and his training and how he looks after himself, and he's dedicated, and someone like Eddie Howe I think can be good for him. I think McTominay can do all right in a team like yourselves, up and coming team, playing in a different type of style of football where it's more functional. It's more about the team unit. Less emphasis on you need to be exceptional in your position as an individual. I think Eddie Howe's getting players there's some players that are exceptional in their positions. And then there's players that are like, you can be part of a cog of team. Like Fabian Schär, I can't believe it, bro. I used to think he was absolutely pony.
£3 million, mate, years ago. And now he's arguably in the team of the season. Jimmy's been amazing.
He's been really good because I thought it was done for him as soon as I knew it was done for the sales, but as soon as Botman arrived, and look, in the future, Eddie Howe will probably go and get different centre halves and keep building in the next phase. But that just shows you, if you see what he's done with Willock, who to me he's all right. He's just a decent player. He's not. I don't think he's top level, but again, getting a tune out of him. Longstaff, I think he's okay. I think he's a decent level. Getting a tune higher than that out of him. Joe Linton. Jesus, I tell you a thing. I gave Joe Linton a standing ovation at half time last year because I had to sit, unfortunately, in the Newcastle end because one of my friends was obviously was with Jamal, basically, who hasn't actually played for you for ages, actually.
Nah, but again, he did well on international duty as well. I don't know.
He did. Yeah, he always does well. Yeah, he does well. He just can't get in for a minute. But we went with Jamal, and actually, I was talking to him before the game, and he said that. He goes, bro, Joe Linton in training. He goes, he's a joke. I said, and I remember before the game, we was chilling. I was eating some food, and I said, bro, I know you're saying about this centre mid thing, but he can't come play centre mid against us. He goes, watch. He goes, watch tonight. He said, watch tonight. sitting
I
there.
remember that was when the Sky Sports interview after the game. I can't remember who it was. Said I didn't realize it was good.
Exactly, and then Longstaff actually stuck up for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, at half, and this was at half time. I mean, you were 1-0 up. He was all over us. He scored quite early. He was unbelievable. He was everywhere. Obviously, I hope he don't play as good as that. But again, testament to Eddie Howe, to what he's done to do that to him. So, yeah, back to McTominay. I just think Eddie Howe can get a tune out of him.
So, you're saying there, like, all these things that Eddie Howe's done with, because we're listing players there, we're listing starting 11 players. Willock is okay, Longstaff is okay, and I get it. Doesn't that show how good of a job Howe's doing to be in a top 4 hunt with these players?
100%. I mean, look at Dan Burn, another one. I know he's done well at Brighton, but again, he's just like a steady Eddie. Trips, yeah. I love Kieran Trips on a personal anyway as well. I wanted him when he left, when he was going to leave Atletico. I really wanted him to come Man United. Really
£12 million, mate.
Oh, mate, absolutely
crazy
bargain. He's brilliant. So yeah, Almiron, mate. Jack Grealish had to say sorry. He had to. Bro, Jack Grealish had to literally come out in public and say, "I'm sorry, bro. I shouldn't have said that because you're sick."
Yeah,
like, you saying someone's an Almiron, yeah, it's not a cuss anymore.
Nah.
Like,
yeah,
it's the opposite. Yeah, he's flipped it. So again, you can't not look at Eddie Howe, bro. Like I even clown masterstrokes like this, yeah. Getting Chris Wood at the time that he did, yeah, for what he needed in that 6 to 9 month period, and then going, I'm ready for a different phase already. Like, it's not like we're past that. You know what I mean? The way that he's bought players has just been perfect. I think and I was one of the first people when he got the job. I went, nah. Newcastle in a relegation battle, and they go and get him. Went down with Bournemouth. He did all right at Bournemouth, little budget, smaller club. Don't see it. I don't see it. And he blew that out of the ballpark with the from that January to the end of the season, he was unbelievable. Then it was, what will you be like this year? And wow, you've just been in that top 4/5 the whole time.
All season, yeah.
Yeah, all season. So he's brilliant. He's brilliant, Eddie Howe.
Well, before we get into score predictions and flex, so make sure you're popping yours in the comments as well below. Will Newcastle be here to stay? We've just had a cup final against you lot. Do you think in the near future you'll be playing Newcastle United again at Wembley? Do you think Newcastle United will continue to push for top 4 next season, considering Liverpool are going to spend, Chelsea will always spend every day of the week? So will that be the case still next season, the next few years?
I think so. I think in the early years it's hard to predict exactly where you're going to be in that bunch. Even the teams that are established, excuse me, in that look at Chelsea this year. I mean, you don't look at Liverpool this year. It's hard to say anyone's going to be in the top 3 or in the top 4. But in terms of being consistently in the shout of Europe and pushing the so-called big teams, you're here to stay, man. You're here to stay, because I think obviously with FFP you can't just come in and I know you got unlimited money and technically you're the richest club in the league. You can't just go and try and buy Mbappe for 250 mil. You can't, because you don't make that much money. FFP, you can't do that yet. But as you start to win things, or as you start to be more successful, and go through the building blocks of buying the right caliber of players for the right time, absolutely, I think, because the money's there, isn't it? You've got the resources, you've got it all there, and money is not a problem. It's just when you're allowed to spend it. So yeah, I think Newcastle are a massive threat. I think Newcastle are going to be able to do what Leicester couldn't do, which was knock on the door, but then break through and get in and stay in. And then I think you'll start seeing a term called top 7 soon. We used to be top 4, and then all of a sudden it started going to the big, the big 6. Big up the big 6, Turkish and the man.
It'll be big 7 next year, won't it? Turkish on the
you know what I mean?
Already, mate.
because Newcastle are relevant. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. No, but Newcastle are going to start to get taken seriously in the biggest conversations in the league, which is who's going to win the league, top 4. The big teams are playing each other in Super Sunday and all that. That's now going to be Newcastle. It is. And I think the results they'll have to start winning games like that. Obviously going away to Man City, getting a result, turning them over at home, all of these things, which you've had some good results this year. So you're starting to compete alongside it. But I think this year you've got away with big draws away from home. Drew against us, drew against Arsenal. Liverpool last dying seconds, but you wasted too much time, so you deserve that.
Oh, piss off.
Yeah. Nick Pope was on the floor. Nah, you deserve that one. Everyone was on the floor. I remember watching it thinking, yes, Newcastle, get this draw. This is great, because it was quite early in the season, so I didn't want Liverpool to do anything. But at the time, I was like, come on, guys. I know, stop going down on the floor. Just, you're only going to add it on. Just don't do this. And I remember watching it. And when it went to that, what minute was it? 8th minute or whatever?
98th minute, aye.
98th. And I was like, well, there was an extra. Yeah, there was. It's the same. Bournemouth did it the other day against Arsenal. You know, I get it. You want to take the sting out of the game, but when the ball's not in play, man, it's going to fucking add it on. But anyway, you know, you've gone away from home and had big performances. And at home, you got that 3-3 against City. I remember that. You 3-1 up. You put it on Liverpool, but then Pope ruined it. You're going to find out against Man United now. Have you beat Chelsea there? You beat Chelsea, didn't you?
Beat Chelsea at home, yeah. Willock.
At home. 1-0. Oh, yeah. Willock 1-0. What else is there? Who else?
Beat Spurs away, comfortably, mate. Smashed Spurs away.
Battered them, but they don't count. But then again, they do, because they're in this
still there, though. They're somehow still there.
Do you know what I mean?
Everyone says the shit, and everyone says every week you watch them, you think, mate, but they're still fourth.
They're always still there, and I don't have a clue how. So that's why you got to take them exactly. That's why you got to take them seriously. So yes, to answer your question, Newcastle are here to stay. Perfect,
mate. Right then, as the guest, I shall let you go first in your score prediction, mate.
I feel like it's changing every time I get asked. On DR, I said draw. Then you made me, because you annoyed me. I saw your face.
Check out the United preview.
I said 1-0. So, and now I'm in enemy territory, so I'm still going to back my boys even more. 1-0 Man United. Extremely tight. But I think it's going to be a draw. I'm nervous about this. 1-0 Man United. 1-0 Man United, bro.
I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle United. I'm going to say that we'll take the lead and we will hang on. I think Man United will create chances through Marcus Rashford, but I think we'll have enough. I'm expecting a big performance from the boys on Sunday. Big turnout in the crowd, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Really,
I want to see two things. I want to see Rashi.
Julian.
I want to see Rashi. And I want to see the real Bruno scoring.
Oh, I hate Fernandes so much as well. I don't want to see that. I hate him. Probably the player I hate him most in the world, actually. He's one of them, isn't he, where you'd hate him if he was for Newcastle, innit? You love him on your own team.
If Bruno didn't play for Man United, I would be like, oh, he's so annoying. I love him. I love everything. I love how he pisses people off. I love his petulance, although it can spill over the odd time. I agree with that. But he's my guy.
Yes, he can.
He's my guy. I fucking love him. And if he scores...
I'm glad you're not at St. James Park on Sunday, mate, because I didn't want you in the tunnel waiting for Fernandes to come out so he finally gives you an interview. I didn't want to see that. Yeah, I didn't want to see that. I'm glad you're not there on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Right, big up, bro. Thanks for coming on the channel, man. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate that, man.
And everyone in the comments as well. Make sure you drop your score predictions below. How are you feeling ahead of the big game on Sunday? Man United fan as well. If you're in there, let me know. Subscribe to the Magpie Channel TV. Subscribe to the United View, and enjoy yourselves. We'll see you on Sunday. Plenty of match day content.